The bread's good with the dip.
All of these nodes could be standalone, meaning they don't need to be connected to your mobile phone. In my case, my Apple iPhone. It just depends on your purpose. So all the nodes that I use that are stationary are not connected to my Apple iPhone because I'm not at those locations at all times, and I don't use those devices to communicate with other people in my private mesh network. Those nodes are stationary, and all they're doing is relaying communications between me and other people in my community. So the mobile phone is not connected to the stationary modes. This particular stationary node resides at my friend's house. She lives on 5th Avenue, and she places this outside on her balcony. I live on the 200 block of East 40th, Upper East Side. Number 5's stationary node, which you saw earlier on 5th Avenue, and my node up here on East 40th are probably the two most important nodes in our private mesh network in Manhattan. The reason being number 5 and my nodes are one of the most important nodes in our private mesh network is because of altitude. My apartment building is, I believe Google says it's 486 feet AGL, and number 5's apartment building is somewhere in that neighborhood as well. So we have the height and the LOS to get great coverage throughout Manhattan to connect with other nodes in our private mesh network. These two nodes are my mobile nodes, and when I carry one of these nodes on my person, it needs to be connected to my Apple iPhone via Bluetooth. The reason being is the application that enables me to send and receive text messages through these nodes reside in my Apple iPhone. When my Apple iPhone is connected to my mobile node via Bluetooth, the cellular connection and the Wi-Fi connection do not need to be activated. They could be off as long as the Bluetooth connection is on to one of these mobile nodes, then everything will work. Here is the application that resides on my iPhone and that is connected to my node, the green one, Camera Right. The name of the application is Meshtastic. Mike Echo Sierra, Hotel Sierra Tango, Alpha Sierra Tango, India Charlie. If you go to your Apple iPhone application store, just type in Meshtastic and you will see the application for these nodes. The Meshtastic application allows you to send and receive text messages. If you don't have this application, you will not be able to send out text messages. You'll still be able to receive text messages into the node because the node will show you the text message on its screen. The only thing is you won't be able to reply back. While using the Meshtastic application, you don't need to have cellular network connection, nor do you need Wi-Fi connection. All you need is Bluetooth connection. Bluetooth connection allows your node and the iPhone to connect with each other so you can use the Meshtastic software. Under Device Config, one of the most important buttons that I use is the Reset Node mode. And the reason being is that although none of these text messages are recorded, it is recorded on my Apple iPhone, meaning while I'm in the application, if somebody were to open up that application, they would be able to see my text messages. So after a certain period of time, depending on the topic that I'm talking about with the recipient of my text messages, I will reset my node to clear out all the messages from my Apple iPhone. That way, if my Apple iPhone gets lost or confiscated, Whoever's using my Apple iPhone and accesses the Meshtastic application, they will not be able to get any of my text messages that I use through this application. When purchased, these nodes either are loaded up with the current firmware or not. If the latter is true, then you will need to apply the firmware into your node. The process is simple. All you do is hook up one of these nodes to your personal computer, go to the meshtastic.org website, and load up the firmware into the node. I'm going to send a text message through our private mesh network to number 5. She lives on 5th Avenue. I'm here in my apartment on the 200 block of East 40th, Upper East Side. As you can see and have already heard, number 5 received my text message. In my next video, I will introduce to you this new product that I took possession in custody, the LilyGo TDEC Plus. Remember earlier in my video, I mentioned that I like to use the Reset Node DB button. That Reset Node DB button, I can delete all my text messages from the application that's loaded into my Apple iPhone. With this particular product, I don't need to do that anymore.